Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. I am Adam, he is Dean, and we are back for another straight up MUFC. D, what is going on, brother?
Still in quarantine, innit? But bless, man. A couple of technical difficulties, but it's all blessed, innit? It's chilling, man. What are you saying?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. Been filming a few things today, so my voice feels like it's going. Been having a chat with Steve, been doing the United Daily. My head's going soon, so I'm on the edge today, but I'm hanging in there, man. Just trying to stay busy before I crack up.
Serious.
That's it, really. You
I've
see that
seen
video today of that geezer giving someone the elbow with the run up?
that. What the two-footed one?
Yeah,
How you? Obviously, I think from what you suggested, I think he ran up in the man's yard or his mum's yard. So I couldn't.
yeah. Well, you see how he bounced off the rope?
Yeah, that's all a bit mad that he's still. Trust me. I've been seeing a few things. I seen man, are trying to clash me with the beard on this channel, innit? I seen Cheeky Sport Dave on here the other day.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
got the big thing going on, innit?
his beard gang strong. What did you make of that debate the other day? If you
Yeah,
haven't seen it, massive debate as Dave against Frimpon.
yeah, big up them, man. Still, yeah, that was decent, to be fair. Obviously, man's got the content now.
Yeah, every day.
Just.
And this is our Friday content, a little bit of straight up MUFC, a little bit of chat. Remember, you can subscribe to Straight Up. We're like one away from our first 500 subscribers. We're going to make some content for that soon. We've been halted because of this whole pandemic thing. So the content will return there soon. So subscribe, help us get to the first 1,000. But Dean, today we're talking a little bit of transfers, potential transfers out. Paul Pogba's been in the papers again now. Through no fault of his own. It's obviously just newspapers like to talk. But there's one thing I wanted to talk about because today, you had Sky Sports doing these tweets and all this, that, and the other, and a story titled on Sky Sports, Manchester United are determined to sell Pogba. Bruv, do you know this story that they put out there on Twitter and that is based on something in the Daily Star?
Oh, for real. Can't really take that seriously, can you?
This is where these mans are like going to, though. It's literally a 2-line story in the Daily Star about how United aren't going to trigger their extension in Paul Pogba's contract because we're determined to sell him. Do you know how backwards that would be, even if we were going to sell him, like to not trigger the extension, because that protects his value?
It's only written in there to benefit the club as well. It's not. I don't think the player can trigger that, innit?
Nah.
You know, if he was awful, I don't think he can trigger an extension. It's for the club to protect their asset, innit? It's good business by United, really. I've seen them do it to quite a few players, to be honest. So these papers just waffling. They're all struggling in it. There's no stories because nothing's happening. So they're just making it. They've been making up stuff for years anyway. But again, so in a couple of days they'll be saying how he's staying and that. Literally, they flip flop with Pogba so much about he's doing this, he's doing that. We're signing this player to replace him, but now he's staying, and now they're saying he's going. Like they'll probably
Last week they were saying Grealish isn't coming because Pogba's staying. Now Grealish is coming and Pogba's going, and United want to get rid of him, and it's just, I just really don't get it. That's not to say I don't think he will 100% going to stay at United in the next window. I don't think there's any guarantees about that at all. But saying United are determined to sell him because we're not going to trigger his extension, which again I think is very fanciful in itself, because from a business perspective, it makes sense to trigger that extension. I just don't know where these papers get off. I think it's because I'm in a bad mood today. But what are they talking about? Like, what are they on about? Like, how can you even come up with that? But then it shows you that they're struggling. And like you say, in a week, in a month, even in a day, they'll be saying something else. In a day.
100%. I seen something the other day talking about how the United have lowered the asking price for him, and I'm thinking, bro, what? So again, I've said this many times on this channel, but for me, if Pogba leaves, it has to be a transfer. He has to be a world transfer record, in my opinion. And it's like the numbers the media are putting around the other day is like, I don't know, like 80-odd million. And I'm thinking,
world record fee is 198 million, so I don't think it's going to go anywhere near that.
I think it will. You think of his commercial power and that?
Nah. We'd be lucky to get 150 for him.
Lucky. I wouldn't sell him for less than 150. I tell you, to me, like, I don't know. I just
move your mic.
If we, I'll put it on top of my beard and I'll just rest it on top of
because it makes a weird noise.
But for me, we paid 90 million for him. What, 3-4 years ago now?
Yeah.
He has to go for. Wow, how much did Coutinho go for? 145.
Yeah, something like that.
If we struggle to get 150 for him, I might have to knock this football on the head, man. Like, I don't know, man.
I don't think we're going to get 150. I think if we
I think you
sold him
can.
in the next window, we'd be looking at 120, 125.
How much are they? How much are they saying for Grealish, innit?
Like 60, 70. But you got to remember, bro, Pogba's got 2 years left on his deal when we trigger that extension, and he wants to go. Fair enough, like, he's also kind of not forcing a move, but he wouldn't mind going. So it's not like we could be selling a player that just wants to stay at United. And then you got to look at how much the clubs would have to pay him, and the kind of market that we're going to be in. If we are to sell him, we're not getting that kind of
For
money.
120 million, I'll let him. I wouldn't do his person to Pogba with. I'd just keep him, bro. Like, you can't be selling him for 120, man. Like, in this day and age, how much we pay for Bruno? 60 odd million. Like,
47.5 plus, probably taking to about 65.
I don't know. Like I say, I'm not comparing Pogba to Beckham, but commercially, he's in a similar, probably not the echelons that Beckham got to, but he's in similar vein. And it's like, I think he'd make a lot of money for whoever he got. If he goes to Madrid, and I think Madrid are already with Adidas, like they're printing money, man. You can see already, like I say, the way that Man United have, the way that we've kind of used this commercial power to get certain deals across the line. Like, Madrid would do the same, but I don't know. 120 million is absolute pittance.
That's why
it's a true point you're saying, though. Post all this, there is going to be a knock-on effect in the transfer market, 100%.
And that's why I don't think I get the feeling he's not leaving.
That's why, to me, I think the only team I think he would go to is probably Madrid. And Madrid, I don't think. Well, Madrid have got their own issues, and I think they want Mbappe, so I just don't see them buying Pogba. I don't even see them trying to buy Pogba, but
and then Juventus aren't going to be able to afford him.
Is he going to go back to Juventus? I don't know. Like,
I think he will.
I can't.
He's loved there.
Yeah, but again, I think Pogba knows. I think Pogba is very aware of his commercial, like the prowess he has, and I think obviously going back to Juventus personally may be good for you, but from a commercial standpoint, if you go to, like I said, if you were to go to a Barca or a Madrid, then you've played at like 3 of the biggest clubs in 3 of the biggest leagues. Like, just come. If I was his agent, that's what I'd be saying to him. I say, bro, don't go back to Juve. If you're going to leave, you go to Barca or Madrid. Probably Madrid would probably be the destination, because obviously the link.
I don't think Barca. I think it'd be Real Madrid if he went anywhere. And I just can't see it happening. As much as I think there's been reports Zidane wants to make it happen, whenever they're talked about Real Madrid, there's not a lot of money being spoken about, and it's players and that, and I can't see that happening. And today, Calcio Mercato have been reporting that PSG are interested in him. You read the article, you get to the bottom, and they're saying, "Are they going to offer Angel Di Maria and Draxler?" And you're thinking, these things never happen. And why are we going to be bringing Di Maria back? Another, like, a player that didn't want to be here in the first place anyway. So it's like,
if he comes back, I'm bottling him, bro. Straight bottling him, bro. You won't even get to the press conference, bro. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me the links with PSG, to be honest, because obviously he's from France. But again, I think Pogba's a bit of a football romanticist, if you like. So I think PSG are kind of new, just come to the ball in it. So I think you'd want to go. You want to go to Galacticos. You want to go to Prestige. I don't see why you'd want to leave United. Well, if we're winning trophies, I don't see why you'd want to leave. But
what's your gut feeling? Will we be watching him at Old Trafford next season in a United shirt?
I don't know if we'll be watching football at Old Trafford next season. Never mind Pogba. But if with all this one, I don't think he'll leave. Tell you the truth, I don't. Well, I just think he'll sign again. I think all of this has been all of it, although it's been long, I think all of it's been like a ploy just to get him more money. Like, I think, and people will get onto his back, but again, Mino Raiola, I know he said some things that are proper stupid and that, but in the end, if he gets the best for his client, the man's done his job. And if he gets the best, because really, Pogba, in my eyes, Pogba should be the biggest earner. Like, if I was his agent, I'd be saying, bro, he needs to earn more than De Gea. Like, so if you don't offer him that, and you've offered it to De Gea, you have to give.
Now, but the talk was last summer we offered him a bigger deal than we've ever offered anyone, and he knocked it back. And that's why the talk was he's not staying, or sorry, he's not leaving for money. He wants to win trophies, and ultimately you can see if I was Paul Pogba and I wasn't like I'm a Adam, I'm a Man United fan. So if I was at United, but if I was a footballer like Paul Pogba, I'd be thinking I wouldn't think United's the best place for me to win trophies. Like in that period now, maybe Ollie's making him think this could be a place where I can win trophies, especially when you consider maybe, some of the other clubs are in Europe are in a stage of change and all that kind of thing, and having to reinvest, especially when you look at Barca, probably like Messi's probably not going to be around for much longer. They're going to have to change, and they're talking about them bringing in Dembele and that, and I just can't like their transfer policy's gone weird. Real Madrid, what's going to happen with them in the Premier League? You got City that could be in a state of change. You don't know. Liverpool, how long? There could be the possibility there at United to actually, we could be going in an upward direction at the right time in terms of potentially winning trophies. So you could think staying at United makes sense. 75%, I think he'll stay. I still, before the summer came, I thought it was 75% is gone. Now I'm like 75% chance he stays just because of the circumstances we're in.
But I think the point you raised, I think compared to the team that he joined under Mourinho, well, obviously he was one of the first signings, but compare that team to this team now, I'm more confident in the squad we have now than the one that he joined at that time, in my opinion. So as a player, I think that's why I've got hope that he will stay, because to me, like you say, it's not. Obviously, everyone thinks it's smooth saying, just go to Madrid. They got their own issues, since they got rid of Ronaldo, like you say, Messi's kind of probably come to end his career, like in the next couple of years, like City are gonna have issues with the financial fair play if they're not in the Champions League. They may not be able to attract the best players. If Liverpool, if Salah goes, Salah himself could end up at Madrid. That's a massive knock on.
I've got a feeling they're gonna sell one of their front three.
100%. I think even Klopp could want Klopp, if something happens to Zidane and Madrid said, "Yo, Klopp, we'll give you a couple of years at this." You're telling me I don't know.
Do you think he'd not be more of a Barca kind of guy?
Yeah, potentially, but that's what I'm saying. Even Barca, but I don't think Klopp doesn't strike me as a man where Liverpool was the pinnacle of the mountain sort of thing. And not only to me, they've got a good team. Don't get me wrong, but Klopp's the strength of the whole club at the moment, I think. And if he goes, again, they're, what I'm saying, that they was on the way to win the league, but moving forward, they're probably not as big a challengers, I don't think, without Klopp. So I think, like you say, and especially with all this, what's going on in the financial world, there's going to be a knock-on effect in the transfer market. And again, some teams will be spending, some won't. Some people will.
There was talk only 3 teams would be in a position to spend in the Premier League. United were one of them. I think Liverpool and Chelsea. I think because with some clubs potentially furloughing staff or making players have wage deferrals or wage reductions, I think there's some sort of, I might be wrong on this, where if you've had your squad go on wage deferrals or wage reductions, you can't now start giving out new contracts and signing new players. So there may be a position where clubs that have done this have put themselves into a difficult position in terms of signing players as well. If you're furloughing staff and stuff, how can you justify then spending 25 million, 30 million on a football player?
Yeah, no, it's true. Obviously, again, some of these things, I think I was watching a bit of there's a on Steve's channel. He had some financial advisor, or some.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and it's he was kind of touching on it, and it's there is, if the teams ain't got big cash reserves and stuff, surprisingly, United, although we've not got the best finances on paper or such, because of the cash flow and the money they generate, United's in a good space, to potentially potentially exploit this situation. And back in the day, United would be not the only dance in town, but United could go in, if we wanted a player, we go get him, and you potentially could see the return of that, or hopefully if I don't know, Woodward apparently is not going to do the transfers, but if if United's got any sense, you will probably start rocking up to teams and be like, yo, like to Villa, like, yo, we give you 50 million for Grealish. You say no, okay, cool, we'll keep it moving, bro. Like, are you going to get 50? It wasn't like last summer or these last couple of summers where like, I don't know, these like some lower teams in the Premier are going to offer you this big dough.
Well, Ali did mention that, didn't he? That we'd be in a position to exploit teams. And yeah, I can see how that could come around. It sounds a bit ruthless, but ultimately it's business, isn't it?
Sure.
And some of these clubs will want to sell some of their best assets. You may even see like West Ham come into a position where they actually start pushing Declan Rice to be sold because he's their main asset, and they think, well, we've lost a lot of money, we can recoup that right here. You know what I mean? Like, and that's how a lot of these clubs will start thinking, where those assets now probably become more valuable to them in terms of selling them. So be interesting to see how that one goes. And that's where I think Diogo Dalot is at the moment, in terms of, there's been links with him leaving United, PSG, Spurs, all sorts been linked with him. And it wouldn't surprise me if he did leave, even though my personal opinion is we keep him. But when you look at United at the moment, we've got so many fullbacks. And let's assume we spend that money on Jadon Sancho, and we assume we don't sell Paul Pogba, as it looks like at the moment. If we then buy Igalo, we ain't got much money to be spending. And we're then going to have to sell players. And Diogo Dalot is probably someone in that squad that is more valuable, and you could probably argue it's best for him and you to sell him.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I did say on this show a couple of weeks back that Dalot needs to go to. Nothing against him, but especially with Wan-Bissaka in front of him. But if he gets that move to PSG or Spurs, fair play to him. But I don't really, like I say, going forward he's a good player, but I'm not convinced by him defensively. And to be honest, I'm kind of shocked that, especially if Mourinho wants to sign him again at Spurs. To me, he looks absolutely nothing like a Mourinho player to me, especially from what I know.
That's a bit unfair, I genuinely think there's something there. I think he's as good as Brandon Williams, and I think one injury to Luke Shaw, Brandon Williams, and Wan-Bissaka, and you got Diogo Dalot at Spurs, you start thinking, what the fuck did we do that for? I genuinely think it could come down to that.
If he could, how much are we paying for him? About 18 million. If you could get 30 million for him, 25, 30 million. Like I said, I think it's that Max Aarons. He's all right, but like I said, Wan-Bissaka's young himself, so he doesn't. Like sometimes it's like with like the issue we've got with Dean Henderson and De Gea. Like De Gea's a good goalkeeper, Dean Henderson's a good goalkeeper, but Dean Henderson's peak, he's probably gonna, not necessarily his peak, but he's gonna be real good. He's real good now, but it's like De Gea at the end of his tenure. So it's like, do you let Dean Henderson take over and then just get rid of De Gea and then see what happens with Dean Henderson? Or like you just remain with De Gea and then like you just shut off Dean Henderson and then like you'll probably see what happens to him when he moves to another club. Like, but I don't know. I'd go back to Dalot. I'm not convinced, but like I said, I would get rid of him. Even Ollie. I just don't. You mentioned Brandon Williams here. I think technically he's way better than Brandon Williams, but Brandon Williams, he looks like that player who put his head where people won't put their foot. And it's like, as a defender, I think you need that. Dalot don't do that. And I think from what I've seen, I don't think when he gets introduced into games, I never look at him and think, I think Ollie fancies him. I'd never think that. Like I'd never think, unless obviously like when we was against PSG, when we're chasing a goal, but he can offer something going forward. But apart from
that's the thing with him and
like,
Wan-Bissaka. I think Wan-Bissaka's better defensively, but Dalot's better in attack. Wan-Bissaka's not that far behind him in attack, so it's like it's a difficult one. But I do think we could be rushing to show him the door when maybe it's probably like, because then we got so much there as well. Laird, Williams, Fosu-Mensah, Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, fucking him. There's a lot of players there, and he's probably the only one that could argue, I need to be playing football. They all need to be playing football.
Yeah.
But he could be saying, I need to play right now. And sorry, you just can't you can't displace Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
I think he'd be a bit wounded as well, because obviously he's got the Bruno link up as well, and like I think obviously their man roll together and that now, and so like I say, I don't think he has to go, but like you say, to raise funds, I just wouldn't be surprised if he went. Like, unfortunately for him, like, because like he's decent, but Wan-Bissaka's just come in and showed different levels to this defending thing. Like, I know
he
you're literally different levels. So it's a bit unfortunate, to tell you the truth.
has been good, Wan-Bissaka. My player of the year.
Mine's Fred on it, but I've got some. Obviously, man getting a bit of stick on it on a stick for that online and it.
Yeah,
Talking
because
about
Fred didn't start off the. I know Wan-Bissaka wasn't 10 out of 10 from the start, but I think Wan-Bissaka's been more consistent than anybody. But I hear why you would say
Yeah,
Fred. I think Fred deserves more of a shout than McTominay,
100%.
and McTominay gets a lot of shouts, and people don't seem to think,
Trust.
huh? But yeah, I think Fred would be top 5 players this season. With
Easy for me, easy.
with Wan-Bissaka, Rashford, Marshall, Fred, and Maguire, probably.
Yeah, I'd agree with it. But
Maguire towards the back end of the season, when he got the armband, he was a lot better. A lot better. You seen Sunderland Till I Die?
I've not watched that. You know, it
Check
pops
it
up
out,
on my
man.
Netflix and that, but like I just think
It's
that
funny.
when I'm watching anything about Sunderland.
Nah, that's what I thought. And then I watched The Last Dance, and then I realized,
the Michael Jordan thing.
yeah, there's only 2 episodes. Like they're releasing 2 episodes every week.
Oh,
That
okay.
pissed me off because then I was like, I can't. So then I just had to find something else, and I put Sunderland Till I Die on, and I finished it.
Nah, I ain't watched it, man. I ain't switched on my Netflix since I finished. You Better Call Saul. So
I never watched that.
it's all right. Still, he's getting well.
Is it the one that's a spin-off of Breaking Bad?
Yeah. Obviously, I did like that Saul Goodman in it, so I started watching it. The first couple of seasons are kind of dead, but the last 2 seasons have been decent, and then it's just left it on some massive cliffhanger. It's probably not going to be back till God knows when.
I like getting into things late because then you've got like I got into The Office US late. I got into Parks and Recreation late, and they're all there, so I can just watch everything. Like, I like when that happens.
I think Afterlife 2's out today. I seen Darren Tool tweet about it.
Yeah, I haven't seen one.
You ain't seen that?
My mom tells
decent,
me about it a lot. You know,
Nah,
it's emotional.
Ricky Gervais is decent, mate.
I like Ricky Gervais for the work he's done. Like, I first started listening to Ricky Gervais when he did his podcast with Carl Pilkington years ago. And like it's turned that into a cartoon. I like Ricky Gervais, but I don't like him at the same time.
Nah, it's a decent watch though. Like I reckon it makes you think, and like I say, the predicament he's in the show is decent. Just like I say, I think it's out today. I'm probably gonna watch an episode today. Like that's what I'm probably gonna do.
I'll check it out. If you watch it, I might see something because we do like a lot of the same things, but I just haven't. And like my mom told me, it was sad on that, and it's just sometimes I just can't be asked to do that. I don't want to go through that roller coaster.
He's still quite funny though. He's good. Trust me, it's a good watch, innit? I wouldn't recommend. I wouldn't even sit and watch it if he was dead. I won't watch it, mate. It's Friday. You ain't got no job. You ain't got no football.
It's the anniversary of Friday, the movie today. I don't know how many years, but I just seen Ice Cube tweet happy anniversary. Yeah, what a movie, man.
It was legendary. I was watching it last. I was watching it. When was I watching it? I was watching it about a week ago. But I don't know if you've ever seen it yet. Obviously, I've always had like the UK DVD version, but I've seen it a couple of times now. Where like there's this American version where there's a couple scenes that are slightly different. That's a bit jarring. That is, to be honest. But
I clocked that when I had it back in the day, and then I bought it new from like HMV, and I was like, "This ain't the full film."
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I clocked that. Next Friday and Friday after next are great. Friday after next is like a Christmas movie in my house.
Yeah, that's the only one. It's like because then it's like you can only really watch it at Christmas, but it's still hard. Cat Williams kills it in that. Trust me.
Yeah, Cat Williams is one of my favorite comedians. I say that about a lot of the comedians, but like I think he's a little bit underrated still. Like the Pimp Chronicles,
Trust.
Pimpin'. Like they're pretty sick. And then even like in his little roles that he's had, even though like a lot of them are
better than Kevin Hart, innit? He's better than Kevin Hart. That's all I know.
A lot of them are just pimps.
Trust.
He was in a
pimp named Slipback Boondocks, and he's in Boondocks as well.
Was he in How High? With the baby powder? No, that was Mike Epps in it with the baby powder in How High. Yeah, Mike Epps is funny as well. I first seen Mike Epps on Def Comedy Jam. I still got them all. Yeah, my cousin gave me like just bare like different copies of like just copied DVDs of all the old Def Comedy Jams, and I watched them all. Yeah, back in the day, man. That was sick.
Trust.
I missed them good times. Can't wait to be back at Old Trafford. That's why I put us in Old Trafford today. Did you notice?
No.
Have you seen the screen? We're like in Old Trafford.
I've not seen that.
Oh, I don't even know what you're looking at these days,
Bro. It's this quarantine life. I don't even know how to check my phone these days. You get me? Like, it's just, bro. The mad thing is, yeah, it's jarring. Yeah, it's like, like without all this, yeah, Liverpool would be champions right now. That's the only thing. I was feeling down the other day, and I was thinking, bro, it could be worse. Liverpool could actually be champions, and then literally, if this did not happen, it's mad, yeah, because man, like, I didn't actually pray for it, but man was saying, and like we need like. I know
divine
we like joking.
intervention.
We need, bro. It happened, and like I said, I was thinking the other day, like Liverpool will actually be champions right now. Like my missus is like my in-laws, and that he's a Liverpool fan, and I say it to him and that because I was like, bro, because I was thinking like when the Easter was going off, a lot of people talking about we're going Liverpool, then rare.
Yeah.
And like, but like I said, imagine that now, bro. Obviously it may still happen, like, but
the Dutch league's just been null and voided, so. I know that was up in the air, and AZ, Alkmaar, and Ajax were pretty even, but it's a little bit of precedence being set now. So we'll see what happens. Dean, anything you want to plug? Your Twitter, straight up, D.
The subscribe button and it. Press that, bang the bell, comment, all of that, innit? Like follow man on. I say follow man on Twitter, innit? I'm a bit active on there, but. Obviously,
you're active now. You're active on there,
Nah, I am sometimes. Sometimes I feel like
you're as active as me.
Yeah, but I feel like sometimes I just binge and I go on a bit too, and then I look back and I think if someone was watching my profile, I think like if my missus probably she watches my profile even though she's not on Twitter, like just to spy what pictures I'm liking and stuff like. Bro, bare stress, bro, bare stress.
Happy days, man. Thanks for coming on. Straight up, D. We're back next Friday. We're going to do a straight up podcast as well at some point. We'll get it done in this format. So subscribe to Straight Up. Help us hit 500. And next target is 1K. So make sure you do that. Follow Dean on Twitter at Straight Up D. Keep it locked to AdamMcKola TV. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And you can even join as well now. Cheers.
Join that, man. Join that.